What's up, observers?
What are you doing over there, John?
I pulled out my headphones.
Okay. I'm just going to go ahead and out there. If you guys don't watch the YouTube, you need you need to start watching the YouTube because it's a disaster every start of the show.
Just to watch John.
Where is it?
It's on both sides.
Hey, give the guy a hand.
No, I got it.
He's got one.
I see what you did
Well, pretty soon I'll have two if this COVID vaccine works.
Yeah, we are as we posted about.
I'm
We
here.
are 5/6 of the way vaccinated. So,
Oh, good.
all right. Well, are you ready to start the show, John?
Yeah, let's do this thing.
Okay. Well, we've got a special episode today. If you're watching on YouTube, you can kind of see already, but we are joined today by a special guest. So we've got Josh Canfield here. Josh, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Doing great. Josh is all of our friends from when we went to OSU, and John, you and Josh were roommates.
Yeah,
for
we
Twice.
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 Oh yeah, Seminole and at.
Well, no, not at Seminole.
No, we were in an apartment here.
And then we were.
That
in a
was
house.
very dumpy.
Oh my gosh! Well, that's what we get. For
It was the cheapest one we could find.
last minute. It's
It
cheapest. one
smelled
we-
like mold all
was-
semester.
and there were bad things happening next door. And
Oh, we almost called the cops.
we probably
a couple
should,
times
We probably should have.
Yeah, and then we were roommates right after I graduated.
Yeah, and that was fun.
And
That
his
was
senior
That was
year.
at the
a
house.
great house.
That was with
Nick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He who must not be named.
Nick Hole. Yeah, and that was when, I guess I knew you from Falls Creek, but we started hanging out when guys were living together, and that's how I met John. And then John and I became best friends, so suck it, Josh.
Or you're welcome.
Yeah. And then Stan moved up to Stillwater about a year after that, and then, so we're all just big one happy family.
Yep.
Yeah.
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 But we've got a fun show today. We're gonna, really just have a fun conversation and then end it with a draft as usual. So, before we get started, follow us on social media: Twitter @PartyObservers, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube @ThirdPartyObservers. Make sure to go to Twitter each week and cast a vote on the polls. We're not getting we have about 40 people listen each week, and only like 10 to 12 people vote, and that's not
Not
the
the
response
ratio
we
that
need.
you want.
Unacceptable.
We need those extra 30 to go in and vote for me
Nah.
so that I can win
Nah.
this, because it's
Well, obviously, don't vote for Stan because he likes to cheat at all the drafts.
Listen, it's not because I cheat. It's because you guys don't explain the rules.
we do explain the rules.
No.
Austin, do you think we explain the rules?
I thought we explained the rules perfectly last time.
Same.
All
I
right.
need more information.
I'm staying out of this one.
Yeah.
You be on my side, Josh. They don't explain the rules. If you know anything about John and Austin, they're going to do anything to give themselves an edge.
No.
Well, and to be fair, I
not
haven't heard
cheaters.
one rule about this draft yet.
True.
There's no rule about this one.
It's just iconic sports
So there are no
moments.
rules.
Yeah.
That's what they say
Not in
about
this
everyone.
Not in this
And
one.
then they tell me the rules right before.
No,
Yeah.
that's not true.
Well, so I wanted to bring something up that's been it really just kind of showed up on the internet.
Has it been on your heart lately?
Yeah, it's been on my heart, on my mind in the last 24 hours. And that is that Bobcat video.
Oh my gosh!
Josh, have you
Down
seen
the-
it?
Down
Yeah,
the
there's one on Twitter.
electric pole?
No. Okay, so
Have y'all seen that one?
Uh-uh.
Oh,
No.
okay, go ahead.
A guy, or like the husband and wife are like getting ready to leave for work, and they have like one of those cameras on their garage. And so the guy walks out and he's like waving to a neighbor who's running. He's like, "Good morning," and then he's like, "Oh, I need to wash my car." And then the wife kind of starts heading to and then all of a sudden you hear this
Scream.
cat scream, and this cat comes up behind this lady and starts
He like jumps on her and like
attacking her, and so she's trying to run away from it, and the husband comes and then like grabs it, thinking it's just a normal cat, and then is like running with it like Lion King.
Lion King in it.
Oh, my gosh.
And he's like, "It's a bobcat!" And then he just tomahawks it.
And then it comes right back. It's
Yeah.
like, oh my
And
god.
so he's chasing after it. The lady that he said good morning to, that was just running on the street. You know, she starts running in as if she's gonna help. And so the husband is like running by the car and
Oh my gosh.
Tosses it across the yard.
and then he's like,
Oh my goodness.
I'm gonna effing shoot that thing.
I'm surprised that thing didn't jump in his car door.
No kidding.
That would have been even worse
Oh,
because the
yeah.
car door was open.
Then you
Yeah.
just have to burn the
Crazy.
car.
yeah.
Then you would have to burn the car.
But that did
Wow.
bring up another question that I saw on Twitter, which was, you know, bobcats are, you know, oftentimes mascots for teams. So what is the biggest animal mascot that you think you could take in a fight?
Just
Yeah, I mean,
hands only.
a surprise fight. Yeah, surprise fight. You're not prepared. You haven't been training for it like Batman. You know, you're just like you're in the wild. Boom. There's the wild animal. You've got to fight it.
Oh.
Oregon Ducks.
That's the biggest.
I was thinking.
Well, I was thinking
Why
about it.
not
It's like
sell yourself short?
I don't want to go after like a tiger or a cougar or something. I mean, I
definitely.
might
Yeah.
try to take a bobcat, but I'm playing it safe. I'm going with the duck.
I'm going duck hunting.
You know, first thing that popped in my head was the UTSA Roadrunners. I'll destroy that Roadrunner so
You
hard.
think you
You'll
could
never
catch it?
catch it.
If it's attacking me, I'll kick it so hard. It can't fly. I'll kick
Like
it
I
up
kicked that milk jug at you that day when we were
yeah,
living together.
Like I'll kick it and it can't fly, so it's just gonna go up and then it's gonna come down dead.
John's gonna be like Wile E. Coyote and like end up dropping a piano on himself and
No. Or realistically, I think I could take a bulldog.
okay, sure.
Yeah, I thought about that
I
one
didn't,
too.
want to bring up any dogs because
I'm just saying.
Michael Vick.
I'm just saying. You said it.
well, he wasn't fighting dogs.
Correct.
He was getting dogs to go fight each other.
Yeah.
Same thing, right?
I'm just saying, like, oh, the
I'm not
biggest.
saying John's a dog. but-
Like, I'm not gonna go take on.
dirty
like,
dog.
Maybe I could take. Oh, I bet you I could actually.
I think I could take on a wolf.
There's no way you could take on a wolf.
Die so fast.
I think I could.
Be dead.
See, a wolf is strongest with a pack.
It doesn't. A wolf is stronger than you. There's no way.
I could do it. I
It would
100%
eat your
could do
face
it.
off.
I'm thinking the Florida Gators.
Oh,
Because-
hell no.
Oh no way.
Oh yeah.
Well, there's definitely
Oh, you-
strategy to take
Yeah.
down a gator.
Yeah.
Anything water based, I'm out.
Well, okay,
Yeah.
question. Is it in the water or is it out of the water?
It's out of the water.
Okay, so that's fair.
Yeah.
nah.
You'd be Steve Irwin up in here.
Hopefully not.
Well, as long as you're not fighting a stingray,
Well, he
it
did,
doesn't
he
matter.
did die fighting an
R.I.P.
alligator.
Yeah.
What? Can we just talk about defeat? Like you live your life with all these alligators all
Yeah.
the time, and it's like, oh, he died from the
Stingray
stingray.
did.
Okay,
man.
so,
So sad.
Well, actually,
producer Amy, and
one of our
our friend Heather,
yeah.
they have a theory that they really do not think that Steve Irwin died by a stingray. They think
They
someone.
don't even know if he's dead.
Yeah, they think he's still alive, and that someone is covering up Steve Irwin's death and
Why?
blaming it on stingrays. Like that.
Yeah,
I mean, because like his whole thing was like
That he died some other way.
conservation and especially like protecting alligators. I mean, alligators were like
Yeah.
his big thing, and they think an alligator killed him, but
But he's not dead.
But to avoid
Embarrassment.
embarrassment and like an outrage against alligators, instead they're like, we'll put this on a stingray. And
Poor
that
guy. Poor
is
guys.
Why
their
would they
big
pick a
theory.
stingray? At
And
least pick
it
like
makes
a
me
shark or something.
so mad when they bring it up because it's so dumb.
It's so absurd.
It's the dumbest conspiracy.
Well, you would know immediately if you died by an alligator, right? Like I mean, like everybody would know.
Oh,
like
there would be nothing
yeah.
left of you.
correct.
Your face would be eaten
But I
off.
still think I could take one.
There's no way.
All you have to do is stand on his bottom jaw and open his mouth.
Good luck, man. It's bottom jaws.
How strong are you?
Not very.
Well,
but-
they're stronger at closing than they are at opening. So that's why Steve always came behind and like closed their mouth because they can't open their mouth, but they can shut it
Oh.
really, really hard.
Yeah,
yeah.
I think they have like a 2,000-pound bite or something like
Yeah.
that. Like it's insane.
Okay, so I'll go with a different tactic.
Because you can wrap like duct tape around his mouth and he can't open it.
Perfect. See,
Easy.
and you picked a duck. We could definitely do a gator.
Do you think you could take a goose?
100%. Although
Yeah.
there's nothing worse than running around Boomer and the geese going like,
They're so
Like-
Geese
mean.
are-
They are
especially when it's
so-
dark
they're
out,
super
and you're
mean.
like, if you come near me, I'm probably gonna
I will
punch you.
punt you.
That's exactly right.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know if. So, at Seminole there used to be geese.
Oh yeah, there still are probably.
Yeah, probably. But so I was friends with some golfers.
Who shall not be named.
You sound shame.
Well, I don't.
He doesn't want to give it away.
Yeah. So, anyways, we were riding around in this guy's truck, and he may or may not have actually run one over, accidentally. I don't know.
Quote unquote
Yeah,
accidentally.
and so we cooked it up in the
Like the
you
guys
ate
that
it?
Oh,
accidentally
like a Christmas miracle?
Yeah, it's kind of like a Christmas miracle. So he had like one of those little propane grills in the
Yeah.
back of his truck, and so he
my
skinned it, and we.
You accidentally ran over the geese, just like they kind of accidentally chopped the new trees down at Seminole. Remember that?
Yeah, I do remember that. I don't know anything about that.
No.
No.
We'll go ahead and move past that so that John doesn't get arrested.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. Statute of limitations is probably passed, right?
I don't know. I mean, were
That's
they
probably 10 years
protected
ago.
trees?
They had just planted them. So, like, they had 2 lakes, like ponds.
Yeah.
And they were just developing another one and put a sidewalk around it and planted a bunch of trees. And, like, everybody wakes up one morning out of the dorms and, like,
They're all gone.
half of the new ones are chopped down with an axe.
Wow. Seminole sounds great.
Yeah.
It was a great time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Josh, how you been staying busy during the pandemic?
Well, so I do high school athletic fundraising, and I've done that since 2014. And then that kind of got shut down because of COVID stuff when schools got shut
A
down.
lot of travel involved with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, in
just
schools.
Stan and I
Yeah,
both
yeah.
drive a bunch, and then also
yeah,
would
you
just
couldn't even go into school.
couldn't go into schools because they were all virtual, and so we stayed busy by starting a lawn care and landscaping
Yeah.
business. So that's kept us busy for the last year, and then
Nice.
fundraising started back in August. So then we got twice as busy.
Yeah.
So are you still doing both?
yeah,
Yeah.
Yep.
And
Nice.
you're able to go back into schools now, or like I don't know nothing about
secretively.
schools.
No, I'm just kidding. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm not allowed to go back into school.
No, we don't go in the back door of the gym. No, absolutely. Yeah, we can go back in. It's still kind of iffy. We're hoping by August everything's finally back to normal. Some districts are like no visitors allowed at all, and some are like, yeah, wear a mask, come on in, and so you comply when you
Yeah.
have to.
So how did you get involved in the fundraising side of things?
So the fundraising side started when I was in college. Actually, John and I were living together our first year up here and met a guy at Countryside that did the fundraising. And so I started building the cards for him because I needed a job in college and did the merchant side. And then after I got done with college, then he asked me if I'd come on full time and kind of run my own fundraising business alongside him.
Did you have any
So-
experience? doing any of
Zero.
that?
No.
So what was that?
Well,
what was
because you
that
kind
like?
Best way to
because you
start
were
a
kind of
job.
going, you were going to school for like
Education. Yeah, I was
right?
going to teach and
Well, because
coach.
you changed your major like 7 times.
I changed my major 7 times and still got out right at the 4-year mark.
yeah, I don't know how
How'd
you
you
did
manage
that.
I have no idea.
Did you
I
stay
had the
within like the
greatest-
same?
No,
kinda-
'cause
No.
At one point, he was a business
A
major.
business, exercise science.
'Cause At one semester, we had like all of the same classes.
Yeah.
and that's the first semester we were here.
That was a semester where you may or may not have had a.
That was this. No, I will tell you. That's
No,
exactly
So,
what
I may or may, hypothetically speaking,
Allegedly.
there may or may not have been some test answers floating
some
around.
guides,
Guides. Yeah.
some study guides.
Study guides
and
floating
John
around.
and I were in the same class and took the first test, and I bombed it like I did every test because I just didn't like to study.
Yeah,
And
nobody does.
John's like, "Oh, I made a 95 on it," and I was
Yeah.
like, "What?" And so like
Well,
they were
and
studying.
At this point, we were not like we lived together, but we weren't
Yeah,
super
weren't-
good friends.
Yeah, we were good friends.
You were
like,
roommates.
but like, yeah, a little more than that. But like, we just didn't know each other super well yet.
Yeah.
And so, then John's studying for a test, or somehow it comes up after that first test, and he's like, "Well, I
I have the study guide.
I had the study guide for it," or maybe it was I knew somebody that could get the study guide for it, and John's like, "Oh yeah, I have it too," and I was like, "What? You didn't tell me?" And he's like, "Well, I just didn't know like how you'd feel about it." I was like, "About making a good grade on the test?" So then anyway, going back, that, had no experience in it other than I played sports in high school, and so just being able to talk to coaches, formulate a game plan to kind of financially get them where they need to go was kind of how we went about it. So I used a little bit of business in that, and then a lot of just my high
Yeah.
school
I
experience.
mean, you just like to talk about
Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
like sports.
I mean, and
and
funding in high school sports is so hit or miss, especially like when you compare like Tulsa Union versus
TPS.
Choctaw High School versus Inola, or like
oh, absolutely, Chandler.
yeah, and then by sport too. I mean, most schools.
Yeah, so we have a lot. There's probably 10 to 15% of schools that like programs that are fully funded and need a little bit of fundraising, and then there's 85-90% of the ones we deal with have zero. Like, we work with a lot of Class A and 2A schools that they get nothing for football for their budget, and so like we have to raise them everything they have to get, and that's only getting worse. They're probably going to get cut again this year because of pandemic stuff.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I mean, as education gets cut, then I mean every school's got to make cuts somewhere.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So go buy those cookies, everybody.
So go buy those cookies and discount cards. Go Pokes.
So how did you approach that work of not having any experience in that kind of fundraising? Just I imagine it's a lot of cold calling too. Like
Yeah. So after one of our summers of working at Falls Creek, my last one, I was graduating, and John and I were talking. You're like, what are we going to do? That like he had his senior year, and I was like, I don't know what we're going to do. Like, I have no idea what I'm going to do for work. And I was thinking I was going to go work at a church maybe, and then it's just like that didn't work out. And so I talked to Nick, and he said, hey, I've got a bunch of stuff in August. If you can help me run these fundraisers, then you decide if it's something you want to do.
this is not roommate Nick. This is
No, yeah, this
okay.
is adrenaline
That's
fundraising.
very
Nick.
surprising.
Yeah. And so I signed a lease on a house like that next day. He told John's like, yeah, I'm still looking for a house too. So like him and we got one more roommate, all moved in together. And then I did a couple fundraisers for Nick that he already had set up, just go and run the fundraiser. And I was like, dude, this is awesome. Like, I love this. And he's like, hey, you start full-time September 1. And was like, okay, great. What's pay? What's that? Because it didn't really matter to me. I didn't have another job. It's like I accepted something I didn't know what it was. And he said, oh, you're self-employed. Like, this is your own business. And so, like, I said, oh, okay, so nothing. He's like, correct. Like, you go sign all your
Start
fundraisers
from
and
nothing.
you make that, and so it's the rule of self-employment, right? I mean, you just make your own. Like, so typically with sales jobs, not to get too in depth, but typically with sales jobs, when you first start out, they put you on a draw. And so it's like, hey, if we project you're going to make $50,000 this year, then we'll pay you this much every 2 weeks. And if you don't hit it, then you better hit it next year, And if you hit over that, then that's where your bonus comes in.
Yeah.
And so I don't know if that's how yours works or when you first started.
I've got
or
a
not.
base salary
Okay.
that they started me on.
Okay,
Yeah.
so Stan's a little different, but a lot of your
Stan is a little
sales job, a lot of your sales jobs will set you up on a draw, especially fundraising side.
Yeah.
I don't know about anything else, but we'll set you up on a draw. But he was like, "Oh no, your draw is 0. Like, go get started."
Yeah, that's rough, and it's kind of scary.
Yeah,
'cause you
and
got
so,
bills to pay.
and
you
so
got
September 1, 2014, we started, and John was there the whole time. I mean, he wasn't doing school, and then we signed a bunch of schools and started counting a bunch of cards and bundle them up. And
Well, I was going to say, I mean, that kind of work, how soon from whenever you started were you able to, maybe not necessarily turn a profit, but get a paycheck? Like,
yeah, so I started September 1. Nick, great guy, the guy with Adrenaline, he actually gave me a couple fundraisers to run in August, or to run in September, just to kind of get me going, that he had ran previously. And but probably till I ran and got paid was mid to end of October before I got a paycheck.
Dang.
So I was
month and a half?
probably 45 to 60 days before I got my first paycheck. And
Wow.
that was, if John may remember, I mean, I was going out to Clinton, staying 2 nights in a hotel, and
Yeah, because you have expenses.
paying
Yeah.
it myself, right? I mean,
Yeah.
it was just like everything I made at Falls Creek that summer, which is not much.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Everything I made at Falls Creek that summer.
shout out
is
Southern
like,
Baptist.
shout out, go work there. And
I think they're still hiring. They're always
yeah,
hiring.
well, and it was a great place to work.
Yeah.
Right, in
It's
college,
fun.
it was
That-
awesome.
That was a blast.
I mean, that's how we
And-
all. Well, not
Yeah.
how
Yeah.
we met, but
Kind of how we got to know each
Got
other more.
connected.
And anyway, so used all my summer money to get through that, and finally started getting fundraisers going, and it was like, okay, here we go. Like, this is awesome.
So the experience you gained with, I mean, because as you mentioned, it was like your own business. Did that help you when the pandemic started and you created this landscaping company?
Yeah, absolutely. Because it's easy to cold call, so to speak, is what they call it in sales, coaches, because they're so relatable. Because I mean, all of us in here can go talk to a coach about anything, right?
Yeah.
About football, baseball, basketball, whatever.
Especially if you have prior experience.
Yeah,
You're like,
and
I
so,
played sports in high school.
Yeah, absolutely. And so,
Yeah, I'm a state champ. No big deal.
Could have went pro.
but my shoulder.
Yeah.
It's the worst excuse.
Well, my knee. It was my knee.
It was my knee. And, so cold calling coaches was easy because I could just walk into their field house and start talking to them. And I would just talk about sports in general, like, hey, how's it going? What are your needs? And then it was like,
They'd be like, "Who the hell are you?
boom. Right. And,
Who's this random guy?"
this random guy.
Are you here to look at the kids? What's going on? Why did you call the police?
Yeah.
So you did in-person calls.
In-person calls,
Yes.
yeah.
It didn't tell them you were showing up, no appointments or anything?
So I did, a lot of people, how they get started, and we're a little different in Oklahoma. Adrenaline is nationwide, but different in Oklahoma from like the small town mindset, because like I would go in and ask the secretary, hey, this is kind of a tactic we use is walking up to this school. There's always a kid roaming around, especially your small schools. Say like, hey, who's the basketball coach? Remind me of his name.
Yeah.
And they tell you, and then you walk in the office and say, hey, I'm here to see Coach Bushyhead.
By the name.
And they're like, oh, yeah. And I was like, is he in class? I said, I just forgot when his plan was. They're like, his plan's next hour. I was like, okay, I'll be back.
Yeah.
And so like, you do that, and then they walk in. They're like, hey, man. Like, you just start talking with them, and then it's like.
And they don't know
goes
that
from
you
there.
dropped their name.
Correct.
Yeah.
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 But it makes it sound like it's, I do that too on cold calls.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So
All
it's
the time.
like the more information you can get, the better. And so,
Yeah.
anyway, all that to say, that helped with Pinstripe when we started our lawn care and landscaping company because I knew people at church that kind of shared my Facebook post that I had made, like, hey, you can start mowing lawns.
Yeah.
And that got us a few lawns. And then I really was more interested in like the commercial side of things.
Yeah.
And IBC Bank, right by Texas Roadhouse here, had like grass up to my knees.
Dang.
And so I called up there and I said, hey, who's y'all's mowing? Are y'all looking for an estimate? And they said, well, that's corporate. And I was like, well, I'm not messing with corporate.
Yeah.
Because anytime you hear that, it's
Right.
just. So then fast forward, did that again. And then called a week later. It still wasn't mowed. And they said, well, that's corporate. I said, well, give me her name. And so I call corporate in Oklahoma City and get a hold of the lady. And she's like, yeah, give us an estimate. And so that's kind of how we started. So that cold call was a little different because it's like I'd mowed lawns and had a little lawn business in high school and then mowed some lawns in college. But, never like, we started this thinking we'd do this for a few weeks. I could mow these lawns through the summer and everything back to normal.
Keep you afloat.
Yeah,
Yeah.
keep it afloat.
Yeah.
And
Didn't
that
realize that the pandemic was going to
realized
be.
that it was going to be
I don't think anybody
14
did.
A year
months
long,
and still going. And one guy I called a place here in town and I said, hey, do you guys have a lawn guy? And they said, yeah. And I said, does he not like to mow? The guy started, he's like, what? And I said, your grass is like halfway up to my knee. Like, does your lawn guy not like to mow? And he like died laughing, took
That's
my information,
hilarious.
and then we ended up getting it this year because
That's
it,
so
like,
funny.
and that's pretty iffy, right? Like, I mean, like, oh, you got a lawn guy. Is he not like mowing?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
That's pretty funny.
so that's kind of how it transitioned.
So are
to
you
being able to do some cold
doing
calls.
more like commercial more than private? I guess.
Yeah. So the hard part about residential, what you would call private, the hard part about residential is everybody wants to save money, especially now, which is
Right.
fine. But they want you to mow like every 2 weeks. Well, I don't want to mow every 2 weeks. I want to mow every week. And so that's why I like the commercial side. And so all of the residential we do, probably 90% of the residential we do is weekly, and then all the commercials that way. And then we got a few that are sprinkled in.
Yeah.
So are you doing mostly mowing, or are you like the landscaping side of things? Are you also
Do you
Yeah,
trim
so-
bushes?
We do.
plant trees?
So this year I hired a girl at OSU that studies landscaping architecture.
Oh, wow.
And
That's
so she
cool.
does all of our landscaping for us
Yeah.
now. So because I just didn't have time to do it anymore,
Right.
and so I pay her to do that. So I still get all the contacts, buy all the stuff, and then pay her to go do that.
Yeah,
So
that's
she's
pretty-
expanding our landscaping side. My dad and I partnered in doing spraying and fertilizing this year. You got to have a license to do all that stuff. So we started that this year, spraying a bunch of commercial and residential stuff for weeds and all that stuff. And That's about it on the. So and then a ton of. I mean, probably 80% of what we do is mowing.
Yeah.
No, it's really
Um,
cool to see though, and it's something that I've seen because the company I work at is pretty small and entrepreneurial too. You've got to surround yourself with people who have different skill sets. So obviously you don't do a whole lot of landscaping, so you went and found someone who did.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, come work for me, and it's cool to see how companies get formed like that and build out. And we want to do
Yeah.
this, so we'll hire someone to do that. And
Well, and it's helping me a lot. And then I didn't think about this until her and I were talking. She's like, this helps her a ton too.
Oh, yeah.
Through that
With
experience.
experience
All
in
that
Gives her
college.
on a resume.
experience, so when she graduates,
Yeah.
because she's a sophomore,
Mhm.
So I've got her locked up for a couple more years.
Yeah, that's
And-
fantastic.
Maybe she can be a 5th-year senior.
Yeah, absolutely. 5, 6, 7, 8 years. Who knows?
Yeah.
I mean, who knows? She may be full time for us after
Yeah.
that. But
Yeah.
it's going to be a lot of experience for her.
Yeah,
for
good-
sure.
Man, that's awesome.
So how are you envisioning or planning for growth for both companies? I mean, because eventually adrenaline's going to come back up. So
Yeah. So we started back with adrenaline. We're getting back to normal there. Quarter 1 and 2 last year were a combined 72% down from adrenaline the year before.
Dang.
This year we're close to back to normal. So
Okay.
we'll get there with quarter 3 and 4 this year. But envisioning Pinstripe, I mean, I would love to be able to, if I can add about 20% more lawns, then I can hire somebody full time as like a foreman to
To run it.
oversee that.
Yeah, then
Yeah.
you don't.
Yeah.
Then you're just kind of making the money. You don't have to do a whole lot of stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot more involved.
Yeah, well, you're probably not gonna have to go out and mow.
Correct.
And,
Yeah, there'll be
'Cause that
certain
would be
ones that I
ideal.
always mow.
Yeah.
Just because, they like everything looking really good.
Yeah.
And so until we get somebody trained to do that,
Yeah.
to where I know every time it's going to be done
Yeah, absolutely.
perfectly. But yeah, absolutely. That would be the goal, is that I can continue to grow on that side of it and have them go do the work and grow on the sales side.
So you'd be more sales, marketing, stuff like that, and be able to focus on that
Yeah.
and have someone else do all the mowing and everything for
yeah,
you.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, that's really cool. I mean, so, we are all kind of interested in, as, 20-somethings, getting into 30, like people our age are still kind of in that transition period of, okay, is what I'm doing or what I started doing right after college or high school, like, is that something I want to continue doing? And then if not, how do I navigate that? And a lot of people our age make the decision to, oh, well, I'm going to go do something completely different that they have no experience doing. And so, kind of what we're interested in talking about here and what we've really looked at is how people who have taken experience that they've had in the past, so you didn't have experience in fundraising, but you had experience in mowing lawns. And then you took that experience and you coupled it with the sales and the cold call experience that you gained and launching into that. So,
Well, and I got a lot of good advice from one professor in particular in college, and he said, if you want to be successful, find something you love doing with something you're good at. And I
Yeah.
think a lot of times, and we talked about this a little bit pre-show, people find something they love doing, they want to go explore that, and they fail because it's not something they're good at.
Yeah.
right.
But if you find something you love doing and something you're good at, and his words were, find something you love doing and something you're good at, you'll never work a day in your life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. And so kind of done that because I'm pretty OCD. And so mowing lawns was, you can see instantly this looks a lot better than it
Right.
did when I got
Right.
here.
That
Yeah.
line is real
So-
straight.
Yeah.
The grass is no
That
longer
line
to
is
my knee.
none.
Yeah.
Right. So, yeah, absolutely.
Well, cool. Well, thanks for joining us. I knew a lot of what you did. I knew you did adrenaline, but hearing kind of the decisions behind that
It's
was
pretty cool.
really interesting. So,
thanks.
I think that's going to take us into our draft. So,
Oh boy.
I think you're planning on joining us for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Today we're drafting the most iconic sports moments. So as Josh alluded to, we're all kind of interested in sports and something we talk about on the
Daily.
regular.
I talk about sports all the time.
Yeah. Stands.
I never don't talk about sports.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I mean, we're all huge OSU fans. I mean, we all
All
went
alumni.
there.
Go Pokes.
We're
Go
huge
Pokes.
and seasoned OSU fans.
Yeah.
We are ready to be
Which means
disappointed
we don't get our
every year.
hopes too high.
Yeah. So no real rules to this draft, you know, and a lot of times when we do drafts, like we want to have experience. Like if we're drafting movies, like you can't draft a movie that you haven't seen, kind of thing. Well, for most iconic sports, that's pretty hard to do because most of the real iconic stuff happened before we were
I
born.
mean, there's been a lot of iconic things.
Yeah, I mean,
happen.
there's been stuff happening in the last 30 years.
A lot of the iconic moments happened at like the
Yeah.
formation or early years. And
Well, and for them to be iconic or considered iconic, you know, their
Stand the
time
test of
has to
time.
pass.
Yeah.
Right.
So, you know, something that happened this year is probably not going to be drafted. Could be,
I mean,
Don't
it's
know.
possible. You could. Might not.
but
Might not stand up against some of the other moments.
yeah. So, Josh, as our guest, you get to make the first pick.
Perfect. So my first iconic sports moment is the Saints Super Bowl win the year of Hurricane Katrina, because that was, I think, just huge for the city. You know, just dealt with the hurricane, and the Saints to come out and win the Super Bowl that year.
When did they?
It was
win the Super Bowl?
05, right? Well, that was when Katrina was.
Then yeah.
The Saints did not win a Super Bowl until 2010.
2010.
Yeah.
Is that right? I don't think that. Either way,
The Saints, it was big for the
he
city.
brought it. It was iconic because
yeah.
as they were building the city back, they won the Super Bowl.
Yeah, and it was
Yeah.
because getting Drew Brees there, like, because it was just a mess.
Oh yeah, from the
Like,
Chargers.
Did you
deal.
ever read that book I gave you, Sean Payne's book?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It talks about it. It's a pretty awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. So, him winning that was iconic for the city.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So,
Yeah, that's good. I hadn't.
screw the year.
Well, I was going to say, in 05, they probably wouldn't have even had the Super Bowl. Because was it in. Didn't they. When they won it, wasn't it in New Orleans?
No.
No, Tampa Bay was the first team to win it at home.
I don't know when it.
This year.
I know they beat the Colts because I watched the game and I'm a huge Colts fan, so I was really disappointed.
See, I thought when New Orleans won the Super Bowl, it was played in New Orleans.
No.
But, all right. Well, that brings me to my pick. And when I think the most iconic sports moment, I always think of Miracle on Ice.
Yeah.
USA over Russia in the 1980s Olympics. I mean, and that wasn't even the gold medalist game. I mean, that was like then they had to go on and play Finland, I think.
Yeah, to get into the gold medal game.
I mean, Russia was just such a powerhouse at that time, and so
Yeah,
Miracle on Ice. That's it for me.
that's a good pick. When I think most iconic sports moments, I'm gonna go with Michael Phelps' 2008 Olympics.
Oh,
That was
Yeah.
heavy.
The greatest Olympian to ever live. I mean, I knew he was, but then I looked at his Olympic medals, and he has 23 gold medals. The next closest person has like 8.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
Like,
The interesting thing about that one was he had won 7,
yeah,
right, and was going for the 8th.
But
and
they
it was
were-
it was
they
a team event.
Yeah, they were underdogs. I
And
think.
it was a team event, and a guy on the 4th leg actually pulled through and won it for him because Phelps had dropped behind in the lead there,
Yeah.
and the guy in 4th.
So he doesn't even deserve it.
So he doesn't even deserve
Well,
it. He has
went-
7.
Yeah, we went 8 for 8.
It's not real.
But no, I just think that was
Yeah.
interesting. Like the team
Yeah.
aspect of it is
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
he
It's
actually
not-
didn't win that one for him. The 4th leg did, but I mean,
Yeah.
he was on the team. He
Yeah.
still gets.
Was
the
that
credit for it,
the
but
Ryan
it's-
Lochte years, or was that the
No,
2012?
that was 2012.
Oh yeah, because that was Brazil. Ryan Lochte, because he had some fun.
Where
all
he
right.
got assaulted.
I forgot about that part.
I about spewed coffee all over my computer right there. My computer that I'm not using.
It's a show laptop.
yeah.
He just wants to feel.
I didn't want to feel left out. Like
Yeah.
everybody's got a laptop. I was
Yeah.
like, might as well have mine on a blank screen open.
All right, Stan.
I was thinking about it, and I think I'm going to go with the Rumble in the Jungle.
Yeah.
Muhammad
Yeah.
Ali versus George Foreman with the 8th round knockout. I mean, talk about iconic sports moments. That's huge. That was such a big one. And there was so much back and forth. And George Foreman was super cocky. And
Well, and that was was that the first fight between them or the second fight?
I think it's the first.
'Cause they had
I don't
I don't
remember.
because it was like the Rumble in the Jungle and then Thrilla in Manila.
Yeah, I think Thrilla in
or
Manila.
was
I think that was
Thrilla in-
second.
Or was that Frazier?
I think that was Frazier.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
I don't. You know, I mean, there are several Ali fights that you
Yeah.
could draft, but Rumble in the Jungle, I think, is definitely the most iconic.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. And then after that,
And
since I
George
get,
Foreman, I don't know. Like, have you guys watched his that old TV show with him in it, where they travel around? What's that one called?
The one with Terry Bradshaw
Yeah.
and Henry Winkler.
Oh, we watched that at your house
Yeah.
before.
It's so funny.
It's so funny. He's
like,
the
he's
sweetest
so,
old man.
Yeah, the sweetest, nicest old guy.
But
So
yeah.
hard to think about him like talking trash and like
Yeah.
being a boxer because like, and it seems like that is the way a lot like these huge guys like are just like the nicest people. Like Francis Ngannou who just won.
Well,
the,
and fighting is
Shaq.
kind of taking a turn. You know, I mean, you had Muhammad Ali that was a pretty mouthy, but
Oh,
back
yeah.
then you didn't have the mouthiness that you have
No.
nowadays.
well,
Yeah.
now it's
You
all
know,
about trying to promote the fight.
in
And it's like, oh,
PR,
there's
because they
there-
make more.
Well,
there's this beef between the two
I mean,
guys. and
that
they're-
was Ali did the same. I mean,
Yeah.
That's what I said.
his-
Ali was
his-
the guy that did that, but
Yeah.
other than him, there wasn't a lot. I mean,
Yeah,
he
I mean,
dominated.
he
So-
was
he historically had a mouth on him.
promoting the fights. I mean,
absolutely.
like that's what got people talking about him so much. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
so that
People hated
Rumble in the Jungle, that was where he did the rope-a-dope, I believe. Because I mean, so Foreman was this big brawler of a guy,
Mhm.
and so Ali just kind of tired him out, and
Mhm.
that's by the 8th round, Foreman was dragging. So
Yeah.
very iconic.
Mhm.
All right, Stan, second pick.
I think I'm gonna go with my second one, and it's not necessarily like a.
Good. Don't go with
yeah.
It is your second one, so I think you should go for it.
It's not necessarily the like a game or anything like that, but as far as iconic moments and standing the test of time, MJ's free throw dunk, I think, is a huge one.
It was the 88 slam dunk contest.
I think so, yeah. And I mean, his whole brand is built around that. Air Jordan shoes. It's him dunking it with his legs spread out. And
Yeah.
It's just
Space Jam.
yeah.
I did.
Just
think-
the
I did
opposite
think
free throw
about that.
line.
Like I was gonna draft when Michael Jordan took down the Looney Tune, whatever the other team was.
Monstars.
Yeah.
Monstars.
I thought that would have been funny, but
that
I'm
was-
not watching the new one, by the way.
yeah,
No, yeah. Why would you say?
yeah. Why they
Ugh.
ruined it?
Yeah.
I'll probably watch it.
Okay.
All right,
so
John.
that is me.
Just so I can talk trash.
I'm gonna go with Tiger wins the Masters 2019.
2019.
He comes back. He's been injured. He's gone through a big scandal. Golf is not the same without Tiger.
Was it a big scandal?
Well, so you like to sleep around with a lot of women.
43, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was ridiculous. Gets in a car wreck, fight through injury, has not been good for a long time, and then he comes through, wins a major. He's kind of trash again.
Gets to the first car wreck.
Yeah.
The DUI in Florida, right?
Yeah.
Like, not the second one.
Yeah. So that's gonna be my second pick.
Okay.
Yeah. Dang. So okay. Well. Okay. So my second pick, I am going to go with Jackie Robinson breaking the color barrier.
Oh!
I mean,
Delete that.
talk about just a changing moment in
Yeah.
history. I mean,
Yeah.
They have a Jackie Robinson Day in baseball.
yeah. Well, I think it
42.
was.
It was just the other day.
last week. Yeah.
It was last Thursday.
Yeah.
Not that I pay attention to baseball because, but Jackie Robinson's a cool guy.
Can you mute his mic?
He's a cool guy. Yeah. Getting on that.
Yeah. All right, John or Josh.
My name's Josh. Yeah.
Too similar.
So, yeah, my iconic moment would be Kobe scoring 60 in his final game.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah.
60 or 62? It was 60,
60,
wasn't it?
it was
Yeah.
60.
Scored 60 in his final game. And, like, just the Kobe way to go out.
Yeah. That was pretty crazy
Yeah.
because
So,
took
There,
a lot of shots to do it, but he did it. No
See-
one's gonna remember how many shots he took.
yeah, no one cares if he took
How many he made?
74 shots.
He took 50.
see, like a lot of these. So like Kobe, Tiger, MJ, Ollie. Like you could pick
A lot of moments.
4 or
from that.
5.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I
from
think
him.
these are like the defining moments.
Yeah.
Of like,
So then I have another pick? Is that
Yeah,
right?
you
yeah.
have to.
So my next one, and John's not going to like this one because he doesn't like baseball, but hopefully our viewers do, is
I know
when
what it is going.
is when Sammy Sosa hit
Oh.
his home run at the first Cubs game after September 11th and pulled out the American flag. It was the Cubs' first home game.
Yeah.
And he got it. I mean, they went nuts because like he rounded first base and grabbed the little flag from
Yeah.
and went around and this place goes nuts,
Yeah.
right? So
awesome.
that's pretty iconic.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
I thought you were gonna say
I
whenever the Sammy Sosa cork bat.
No, that was an accident. Although he may have used one for that just to make sure he got it out.
yeah.
I gotta get this out.
That was not the Sammy Sosa moment I thought you were going to talk about.
But that's pretty iconic.
yeah,
right?
yeah,
So,
yeah.
Okay, so I think I am going. You know what? I'm not sure that this would make it back to me, so I'm going to go ahead and take it. I'm going to take punt it again, Bob. The Tyreek Hill punt return touchdown over Bedlam. Maybe not as iconic nationally, but for all of us,
Locally,
it
very iconic.
it inspires and it makes us remember the good times when. Well, until like a few weeks later, when some other news came out about Tyreek Hill that we should not bring up on this podcast. But
Fake news.
yeah,
But OSU, kicked him off the team immediately. So
Oh,
it
yeah.
was good.
That morning. That morning.
I mean, it's not very often that Oklahoma State beats OU in football. So
It's true.
Honestly, that
John and I were there. Not like at the game, but like we were watching it together and we went bananas.
No, I was at the game.
You were not at the game.
Yeah, I went with Ronnie and Danielle. But anyway,
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Anyways, but that Dave Hunziker's call on that is awesome.
Absolutely.
Like I love Dave Hunziker
Oh,
already,
yeah.
but like that is a great call.
Yep. That was so good.
Mine third pick is gonna be. I just think this is really cool. Obviously I didn't see it a lot because I wasn't alive. But Jesse Owens winning 4 gold medals in the Olympic Games in Germany, just saying "screw you, Hitler, and your white supremacy. I am better than you, and all of your athletes." And it was a huge deal. Like back then.
Well, so I was reading up on that before this, and I guess, I liked Hitler had kind of staged the games for his own, rhetoric. But when Jesse Owens won one of the events, like the German athlete, like they ran another lap arm in arm, and so I don't know what happened to that guy, but I
imagine nothing good.
Yeah,
No one ever saw him again.
Yeah, but
But it's
they
very
made
cool.
a movie. I don't remember what it's called, but I've seen it. It's actually a really good movie. It has Jason Sudeikis in it, and I forget
Jason
Sudeikis, same thing.
Sudoku.
Yeah, but it's a good
Potato,
movie.
potato.
It's a pretty good.
Numbers
movie.
are hard.
Yeah.
All right, Stan.
I'm gonna go with my third pick. Third pick, man.
Actually, go with your fourth and your third next.
Oh, you're right. I got 2 in a row. I can do whatever I want. I'm gonna go with Wilt Chamberlain's 100-point game.
Yeah.
Philadelphia Warriors over the New York Knicks in 1962. 100 points in a bet. That's crazy.
Before the
That's
3-point
insane.
line.
Yeah, before the 3-point line, because
I
that
mean-
was what 1984
No.
somewhere. Yeah, but that's insane. But I looked up the final score
It'll
of the
never happen
game.
again.
No,
Yeah.
it was 169 to 147.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I can't imagine a game
It's
scoring
like an
that high.
all-star game nowadays.
Yeah. So yeah, talk about iconic. Okay, what am I gonna do for my last one? I think I'm gonna. I'm gonna go with the baseball one too. Let's see. It's the shot heard around the world. The first televised baseball game. Thompson was able to hit a 3-run home run. I'm reading this, which shows you how much I actually know about it. But
Pandering
won the
for
game for the
votes.
Giants.
Pandering.
Hey, I'm doing what I got to do. all right.
If you were to
Doing what I
pick a
gotta do.
baseball moment, I do not think this is the baseball moment to pick. But it's too late.
Yeah,
No, I'm sticking with it. I don't want to
go
change.
for it.
Go for
I
it.
don't know much about it. First televised game.
First televised game, he hit a 3-run home run, won the game and the series, and the pennant for the Giants.
I did not know that.
Now you know.
Okay.
Now I know.
Now I know too.
Iconic.
All right. There's so much left on my
Yeah.
list, and I don't know where to go.
Well, you have to pick one.
But
Go with your fourth pick.
Fourth pick for sure. That's the one you want.
Fourth pick. All right. Coming in. Let me read the card. I'm gonna go with Malcolm Butler's pick in Super Bowl 49 to seal the win for the Patriots against the Seahawks. I did have another game on there, but I think that is more iconic. Like,
Is that more on him or is that more on Pete Carroll calling the wrong
No,
play as being
not
iconic?
running.
yeah, you have Marshawn Lynch at the 1 or
On first down.
down, and then you throw
With like 30 seconds left and
and
2
then-
timeouts.
Yeah, it's nutty.
Yeah.
But
It's
what
terrible.
I that moment is just like crazy.
See the Patriots Super Bowl I was thinking about that I have on my list was the one over Atlanta where they
I
were
had that
down
too.
28-3
I had that one too,
and
but
came
like,
back, and Edelman has that huge
the
grab.
catch. But I think the pick is more.
Yeah, it's and Marshawn is great. Okay, that brings it to me. Crap. I've got so many on my list, and I'm trying to figure out. So like I've got another one for Michael Jordan that I think is more iconic than the dunk.
The shot.
Nope. I've got another one for Tiger, and then I've just got a bunch of others. I'm like, man, this was cool.
Yeah, same. I had. It was hard to choose.
So I am gonna go with the MJ one. I'm gonna go with Michael Jordan's flu game,
Ooh, yeah.
1997 NBA Finals.
Well, and they've actually come out. Like, did you watch The Last Dance?
I haven't watched it yet.
It's really good. Did you watch it, Josh?
I did not.
Oh, okay.
Have you watched it, Josh?
Yeah.
No, ruin it for us. Go ahead.
Okay. It was actually it's food poisoning. He had food poisoning, which is it's probably worse than the flu. I don't know if you guys have ever had food poisoning,
No,
I have.
but
I mean,
it is awful.
It's not
It
fun,
is.
no.
It's terrible. But I had the flu for the first time like a year and a half ago,
Yeah.
and
Are you sure it wasn't COVID?
so I guess for sure. And I thought I was gonna die.
Yeah. Both are really
sucks.
awful. I don't,
Yeah, terrible.
but that is
So the flu game.
Yeah, the flu game, 1997 Finals.
It is now actually food poisoning game, not flu.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but that doesn't flow very well.
Too many
The
words.
food poisoning game. Yeah. So my final pick, my fourth one, is for iconic. Is going to be Peyton Manning's second Super Bowl win because it was his 200th career win and Super Bowl 50,
Last
and
game.
and his last game.
So that was the one with the Broncos.
Yep.
Okay.
What Super Bowl was that? I can't remember.
50.
50.
Super Bowl 50 because that's why it was just iconic. It was like Super Bowl 50,
Yeah.
200 wins. You know, there
Yeah.
were so many
Mhm.
even numbers in it, and Peyton Manning's one of the greatest.
And your
you know,
OCD, so you really like
Yeah,
it.
and my
That's
OCD.
OCD.
So yeah, that's mine. Final
Uh,
pick. So
Did you have any what were some other top picks that you just didn't end up picking?
Oh, I can go on forever about it.
Like I had
one of mine was the Giants ruining the Patriots' perfect season.
I had the David
That's pretty iconic.
David Tyree helmet catch. Yeah, I think that was
in that game.
That game.
Yeah,
That
that was 20. Or
It's
2008.
Super Bowl 42. I think it was
2008, 2009.
Yeah. I also had
So-
the 2006 BCS championship game, USC Texas. I think probably one of the greatest.
That was a great.
one of the
game.
greatest football games ever played.
Vince Young.
Yeah, Vince run just. I think he had 19 yards out.
Yeah.
I remember watching that game.
Yeah,
and he just walked in.
I watched that game too, but we weren't together.
So one I had that I really wanted to pick, but I opted against it because I wanted MJ was Glory Road,
Yeah,
the Texas Southern Championship.
that was pretty
I also had Battle of the Sexes, the Billie Jean King versus Bobby Riggs.
Oh, yeah.
But I never saw that movie and don't really know much about tennis, so
Same.
decided not to do it.
I thought for you guys picked baseball. I thought you would pick the Cubs winning the 2016 World Series.
No one cares about the Cubs.
I mean, breaking a.
That was
Yeah.
pretty iconic.
Yeah, it is.
And the guy that ruined the game, like back in the 90s, was that 90s?
Yeah.
When he ruined their chance because he reached over and caught the ball, was actually at the game.
Yeah,
So-
like, because I mean the 100-year curse.
So
you know what I'm talking about, man?
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I know what you're talking.
So when when the Cubs won the World Series, I was living in Tennessee, and my roommate, huge, just Chicago sports fan. He's not from Chicago, but loved the Bears, loved the Cubs.
Tough life for him.
Yeah, and anyway, he cried when they won.
I
And
cried when Peyton Manning retired.
Wow.
I watched that retirement speech in
So-
Cushing in the Walmart parking lot. Oh,
in the Walmart parking lot.
Yeah.
One other one that I wanted, another OSU one, Elite Eight win over St. Joseph's.
Yeah.
I remember that. I mean, I was 10, but I just remember like going crazy in my house. And then another one, iconic for a different reason, but Mark Sanchez butt fumble.
Oh yeah, I thought about picking that.
That was the only not top 10 that's made it 52 weeks, and they retired it because
Yeah.
they couldn't have something else.
Yeah,
to
it
do.
was
So embarrassing.
so funny. I thought almost drafted LeBron James's block in the 2015 NBA championship.
Iguodala's?
Yeah,
Didn't Iguodala
he
go up?
blocked Iguodala.
Yeah.
Come back from
Mhm,
3-1.
from behind.
Put it on the glass.
Yeah,
Yeah,
down 3 games to 1.
because that was game 6, wasn't
Yeah.
it? That was game
Yeah,
6.
then
That
they
was
came,
it.
back, they came
Yeah.
back and won 3 more games. It
Yeah.
was like woof.
Man, I could talk for
Yeah,
forever.
there were so many to go.
I almost drafted Cool Runnings too.
It's such a great movie, too.
Yeah.
Oh my
I wanted to
gosh.
draft more Olympic ones, but like I was like, I
Yeah.
can't go all Olympic.
So, my sister and producer Amy, they're first iconic one that came to mind was some gymnast whose name I don't remember, but I guess she like broke her leg and doing a vault, and then so she had to do a second vault, and on the second vault she stuck the landing just with one foot.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
And so I think they won gold on that, but I don't know who she is, so I
Yeah.
didn't draft it.
It's hard to go with like things like that because like
Yeah.
you only care about gymnastics every 4 years, unless you're from like a gymnastics family or something.
Yeah.
Some of the major sports.
Hope we don't have any gymnastics fans watching the show.
I should have came out with drafting some synchronized swimming.
Oh, I would have lit you on fire.
All right, well that's gonna do it. We're way over 45 minutes, but
That's okay.
I kind of figured going with this. I mean, we could talk for forever about sports. So, Josh, you went New Orleans Saints Super Bowl win, Kobe's final game, Sammy Sosa's home run after 9/11, and Peyton Manning's Super Bowl 50. I'm not going to read through all these. There's so many. Head to Twitter and go vote.
See us on Twitter.
They're all going to be there. So we're going to end this show. Thank you for listening. Josh, thanks for joining.
Thanks for having me.
And until next time.
Have a good week.
Bye.
Yep.
See ya.